everyone, we're going to do a Ostfront 2nd edition example battle. On the German side I have one platoon here with 2 squads and a command base. One squad has a MG34 supporting. The Germans also have 3 Panzer IIIs and a Panzer III command with a commander. On the Soviet side we have one platoon, that is the commander, and 4 squads. We have 2 82mm mortars. We also have a KV-1 here, and 4 BT-7s, one of them as a commander. The Soviets are overall poor quality. This is going to be a 1941 Barbarossa type battle when the Germans first invade. So the Soviets are poor quality, and the Germans are considered to be good quality. That's their overall kind of army quality. But some units may not be exactly that. So, for example, this commander is average, and but I believe these infantry are good. The tank are considered good. These infantry are all poor quality. This commander is poor quality, and in fact, the entire Soviet side is poor quality. So, the only difference is that this commander here is considered average rather than good. So, he's maybe not the best German commander in the region, but he's still decent. So before we start, each side will have 6 free actions, which I'll use these green dice to represent. 6 free actions, and these can be used as an extra action during your turn, or it can be used as a reaction. If the enemy moves or shoots in your line of sight, you can then react and spend one of those. And you'll only get 6 throughout the entire game. So I'll change to the tripod and we'll get started. Okay, we'll start the game. This is turn 1, so I'm just going to mark the turns on this dice. First part of the turn structure, we'll deploy any hidden units. There aren't any hidden units in this game, so we'll go into the next part. Is the recon phase, so we'll check to see if anyone is outside command range. For Germans, it is 10 inches from the commander's base, so everyone is inside, and 16 inches for a vehicle. So everyone's inside command range, so that there's no one considered to be outside. For the Soviets, we'll check as well. They only have a 6-inch range due to the lack of radios. So everyone's inside command range at this stage. If there was anyone outside command range, right now in this recon phase, they could make a single action, and light vehicles could also make a free detection check. So there's no recon. We'll go to the activation phase. Highest quality commander will activate first, and we'll go commander by commander. So the Germans have 2 average commanders, and the Soviets have 2 poor commanders. So the Germans can go first. They can choose whichever commander they want to activate. In this case, they are going to choose I'll probably go for the Panzer III commander. So when I activate, I'll get 6 actions. So I'm just going to place the small dice next to him, and I have 6 actions. Straight away, I have targets in front of me, these BT-7s. They are just over 20 inches away. Each of my Panzer IIIs has a 5cm cannon, short 5cm, which can reach up to about 40 inches. And at this range, I will be able to penetrate the front armor of these BT-7s. So I'm going to have a go at detecting and destroying these BT-7s. And then once I've done that, I can then look at the KV-1 and maybe try to focus fire on him, because he's going to be a big problem. I do have options as well. I could make use of terrain with these tanks, which would mean I'm taking advantage of hull down positions. So my options is I could just open up and shoot just from where I am. I could make an action each to kind of try to do almost like a stealth move, this making use of terrain, which would make it more harder for the enemies to detect me, or I could reposition somewhere else. Essentially, these 6 actions can be spent on anyone within 16-inch range. For the Germans, they could even be spent on these units over here, because they're much more fluid in how they can command things. For the Soviets, with their limited combined arms, a commander would need to choose either infantry or vehicles to activate. They can't do both at the same time. And no unit can activate more than twice. So 2 commanders can't activate the same unit in the same turn. So, if I want to play smart as the Germans, I would probably do all 4 of these make use of terrain, which would put me in good hull down positions. I mean, I could just run in guns blazing, but I think this is probably a better way to do it. So it'll cost me 1 action for each one of these. I can make a move. So for a Panzer 3, I can go 8 inches forward. And when I move, I have to go directly forwards. And every time I pivot, it'll reduce 1 inch from my movement. So I can go, say, 1 inch pivot and then 7 inches forward. And, oh, sorry, as making use of terrain, I can only go half move. So I'll go 3 inches forward and pivot to there. And I need to make a quality check for this to be successful. So I roll 2 dice. I need a 5 for that to work. Sorry, I need a 7. So I have not succeeded with that guy. That's cost me 1 action point. I'll try for the next one. He does succeed. So he'll go 4 inches directly forwards, and we'll place a concealed marker on him. It'll cost me another action. I'll try for the use terrain with this Panzer 3. He does not succeed, so he's moved forward directly 4 inches. Take another 3, another 1 action. So, and we'll do the same with the commander. He will try to, so he moves directly forward 4 inches, and he's considered to be also concealed. So that's pretty good. I've got 2 actions remaining. These actions can be spent on any unit. There is a limit to how many activations each unit can take, depending on the commander. But for an average quality commander, that is 3 actions. But for an average quality commander, that is 3 actions per unit. And right now they've only done 1 action each, so they can easily, either this Panzer 3 could move again and fire, it could do 2 more actions, which would be 3 in total, or I could do 2 actions on 2 separate vehicles. So I'm happy that 2 of these tanks are concealed. They found good hull down positions. These 2, maybe there was no terrain they could make use of, possibly. My next 2 actions, I'm going to try to attack those BT-7s over there. So, in order to attack a target, I need to detect it first. They're within 20 inches, so there's no modifier. If it was beyond 20, it would be a -1 modifier. So all I need to do now is roll a quality check. And for a German armor, it'll be a 7+ on 2d6. So they detect. Now that is a free part of an attack. When you make an attack, you roll to detect, and then you roll to attack. So now that this BT-7 is detected, anyone on the German side can attack it. So I've done my detection, now I'll do my attack. This all just takes 1 action, detection and attack. Now we'll check the range. I am within 20 inches. I've got a short barrel 5cm cannon. Within 20. And the BT-7 is light to the front, so I need a 4 or higher on 2d6 to cause problems. So you can see here, short barrel 5cm, less than 20 inches, and then if you look at the top, that is the light armor there. So I need a 4 or higher. So that's what I need. Now, equal to this target number or 1 above will cause the target to retreat. If it's more than 2 above this number, it will be destroyed instantly. So a 4 or 5 will be a cause a retreat, and a 6 or higher will destroy the tank. So roll the dice. That's a 6, and the target's destroyed. So that's 1 BT-7 up in flames. Oops. There we go. Okay, that's cost me 1 action. And now I'll probably use the same Panzer 3, and I'll try to detect the next one. So I need a 7 or higher to detect. I do detect. And then once again, I need a 4 or 5 to cause a retreat, and a 6 or higher to destroy. the 6, it's also destroyed. So that's 2 BT7s destroyed. And now we'll go on to the infantry. So after this, now that this commander has activated, I'll leave this dice next to him to show that he's already activated. And we'll now move to the next lowest quality commander. If we both had average quality commanders, we'd roll off first to see who activates first. But in this case, both these Germans are average. And so the next quality commander is this average quality infantry here. So he'll activate. He'll get 6 actions as well. And I probably want to advance up into this cover here. And we could do some fire and movement where this MG34 lays down some suppressing fire while we advance. So that could be an option. What we'll do is we'll spend an action to try to attack these infantry in the forest over here. Lay down some suppressing fire. It is beyond 20, so we usually need to roll a 5+, I believe. Oh, sorry, they're average quality, so... Oh, no, are they average or good? Let me check. Oh, they're good quality, okay. So usually we need a 5 or higher. We're going to... the way you modify a 2d6 roll is if it's -1 or +1, you would add 1 dice. If it was -2 or +2, you would add 2 dice. And then if it's overall a minus, you'd choose the 2 lowest. If the overall modifier is a plus, you'd choose the 2 highest, for example. So in this case, we've got 2 dice. All the checks are 2d6 in this game. The target is in cover, so we're going to add 1 dice. Target in cover makes it -1. So we're going to add 1 dice, and we're going to choose the 2 lowest. That'll be a -1 to this roll. So we usually need a 5. The 2 lowest would be a 5 and a 1, which is a 6. So we do detect. I believe... Oh, actually, it's long. It's beyond 20 inches as well. So there should have been additional -1. So we'll just roll an extra dice. We need to choose the 2 lowest. So this is actually a -2 overall modifier. We get a 4, so we're not able to detect. We're looking out into the forest over there, and we don't see anything. So we could expend another action point to try again, but I think we're just going to start moving up. That might be the way to do it. So I'll spend 1 action. You can move 6 inches per action. So 1 action for that. 1 action to move my commander up. And then I'll use another action to move this machine gun to here. That's 2. Now this unit has made 2 actions total. It can make 1 more due to this commander being average. I have the maximum of 3 actions per unit. So I'll use another action to try to suppress that forest again. Or actually to detect anything. So I'm on my binoculars trying to work out what's going on. Right now they're within 20 inches. So it'll be 2d6 and just -1 for the cover. So I'm going to choose the 2 lowest the results. That's success. The 2 lowest is a 9. And I only need a 5. So the target is detected. And then I'm going to roll to attack, which is all just 1 action. MG34 against infantry, you can see here. Here's our MG34. Versus infantry, it has an A-type attack and a range of 24 inches. And it doesn't really matter what the range is, it's always going to be an A. So right now we're within 20. We're just going to use the A-type attack, and I'll show you how that works against infantry. So all checks and attack rolls are 2d6 in the system. So we're going to roll 2d6, and we're going to compare to this infantry attack table. And you can see it has the weapon type across the top. So A, B, C, D, E, F, and there's a 2d6 roll down the side. Hopefully you can see that clearly. Now the modifier is light cover, so it's going to be -1 to the roll. Sorry, -1 modifier. So the same way we modify as usual. So roll 2d6, and I'm going to, as a -1, I'll add 1 dice and choose the 2 lowest. So that is an 8, which causes the target to be, there's a possibility of being suppressed, and that means he's going to make a morale check. And he is poor quality, so but he is in cover, so he'll get a +1. So usually he needs 2d6 with a +1 for cover. So in that case, he'd pick the 2 highest. but he's also close to a poor quality commander, which was a -1. So it'll actually just be 2d6, and he needs a 7, I think a 7 or higher. A 7 or higher to succeed this. So if he does succeed, he is not suppressed. That unit is not suppressed. So they're in the woods, it's hard to see them. Some machine gun fires come in, but they're not suppressed. It hasn't had any effect. We've got one more action here. They've made 3 actions, so they can't make any more. I will probably get these guys to do a stealth move. So they'll move half distance and roll a quality check, which is a 5. And they succeed, so they are also considered concealed. Okay, so that's all the German activations. We'll now go to the Soviet activations. They do also have free actions, and the Soviets could have used free actions as well. Each time these vehicles moved or attacked, we can spend a free action to react. So I'll show you how that works in a second. Okay, so Soviet activation. Let's see, the range of rifles is only 12 inches in this game, so none of my rifles are in range, but I do have 82mm mortars, which are pretty good. So what I might try to do is I can either activate this commander here, or the infantry commander. I think I will activate the infantry commander, and he's going to attempt to get, now these guys are in area terrain, so they can only see 1 inch through there. So these 3 units on the edge will be able to see out, but this commander could not see out or could not be seen. So his option is he can get this infantry to try to detect. Now beyond 12 inches, it is more difficult to detect, and in fact that would affect this unit as well, because they're not considered to have binoculars. Only the command units and field guns and mortars would have binoculars. So, but what I could do, he's only got a 6-inch command range, so I can't quite reach that 82mm mortar. But what I think I will do is reposition my commander. I'll put him here, and that way he's more central to everybody. So there'll be 1 action to move to there, and then I'm going to yell at this mortar and say, detect those infantry. That'll cost me 1 action. He's now within 6 inches, so he can get this mortar to attack. The mortar has, it's going to be the same, whoever tries to detect. So the mortar's beyond 20 inches, so he'll be -1 as well. I'll just check line of sight. So to check line of sight, we take a line from the direct center of the unit to the direct center of the target, and any attached weapons are ignored. In this case, there's a KV-1 in the way, which makes it also more difficult to detect. So I'll give it a shot. I'm not very hopeful. It'll be 2d6 to detect, as usual. -2, so -1 for long range, -1 for the cover of the KV-1. In fact, no, the KV-1 would block line of sight completely. If anything's blocking that line, you cannot attack, or you cannot detect. So this mortar will actually need to reposition to here. So I'll move them up, that costs me another action, and then I will detect. Right now I am now within 20 inches. Oh, am I? You measure from base to base, so I'm just out. Just out, so it will be a -1. So 2d6 for the -1, 2 lowest. I need a 7. I only get a 6, so I fail that. So I believe that's another action. I've moved. The mortar has moved, and the mortar has detected an attack. That's 3 actions. So that's a failure. I will, as a poor quality commander, he can only do 2 actions. So my choice is I can either use a free action to try to keep going, or I can start activating some of these other guys. What I might do, I might spend 2 actions on this mortar here. Actually, come to think of it, these 82mm mortars are heavy, so that requires them to spend 1 action to set up before they can even fire. So actually that attack could never have happened. He could have moved there, he would have to spend 1 action to unpack, essentially. So let's say I reposition the mortar. I still have an extra action remaining. I've moved there, mortar's moved over. He's considered to be heavy, so he can't move and attack. He'd have to move, then spend an action unpacking, and then attack. because this command is poor quality, the mortar can only make 2 actions. All the units can only make 2 actions each. It's just not that, the command is not that good at coordinating complicated things. So, let's say I spent a free action on that attack. So I did make the attack, but it's a free action. And then what we can do, anytime a unit moves or fires within your line of sight, you can make a reaction. So this unit has moved and attacked within this unit's line of sight. So after this attack, I'm going to make a reaction as the Germans. So we'll spend a free action, and as a reaction, a good quality unit can move, attack, or if it's a field gun, it can pack up or unpack. So these guys are going to attack. I have to roll to detect. We're beyond 20 inches, as we established. So it'll be a -1 to detect. But we only need a 5. I choose the 2 lowest. So that is a double 1s, that's a failure. So we don't see the mortar moving up into position. So this commander has 4 more actions here. I'll move this mortar up to here. It will cost me 1 action. And what I can do, since he's moving out of command range, I can actually donate 2 actions to him. So I'll go down to 2, and then this mortar will then have 2 actions it can spend. Which doesn't really... actually, there's no point, because he'll have to move there and then unpack before he can fire. If he hasn't moved, he can fire as normal, so there's no point moving, unpacking, and then firing the next turn, because if you don't move, you can fire anyway. So I'll just spend 1 action, move him out to there. Then I've got 3 more actions. I'll try to detect these infantry with this infantry here. We'll see what happens. Beyond 12 inches is a -1, so it'll cost me 1 action. I'll try to detect, and I'm going to choose the 2 lowest. It's a failure. I'll try again with the same unit. This time also a failure, so they don't see any Germans advancing. I've got 1 more action. I'll try to detect with this unit here, and he should be able to see pretty clearly. Yep. So I'll try with him as well. He is still beyond 12 inches, so it's a little bit difficult to see these Germans advancing in the snow. The 2 lowest is going to be a 6, so it's not quite enough. We need a 7. And this really shows the quality of troops. They're sitting there, they're probably not even paying attention, or maybe they're just not looking very carefully, or, you know, there's some other issue there. So yeah, that's that commander finished. We do have free actions we could use, but we'll probably try to use these as reactions, I think. Okay, now we'll go for the tank commander here. He'll have 6 actions too. Get another dice for that. 6 actions, and this is a part where the Germans probably want to make a lot of reactions. Every time I do something here, it's very dangerous for these tanks. So I'm going to use 1 action to get my KV-1 to attack this Panzer III here. Should be pretty easy range. So within 20, there's no modifier, but I do need a 9 or higher to actually succeed. So what we call the situational awareness is reduced. Usually all of poor quality need a 7 or higher. In a vehicle it becomes an 8, like a light vehicle, but in an armored unit it becomes a 9. So it becomes, your situational awareness goes way down when you're in an armored vehicle like this. Same for the Germans, same for all units. Infantry is the best situational awareness, and then light vehicles slightly lower, and then armored units even lower. So in this case I need a 9 or higher. The target is a vehicle, which I forgot before. It makes it actually +2 modifier to detect. So I'm actually going to choose the 2 highest here. It's an 8, so I don't quite see it. Now that counts as an attack, and it's within line of sight, so I am going to react as the Germans here. I'll spend 1 free action to react, and I'm going to try to detect this KV-1 as well. So, same thing, there's no modifiers for long range, but detecting any vehicle is a +2. So I'm going to, my usual detection check is 2d6, add 2 dice, and choose the 2 highest for it being a positive modifier. And I just need a 7. So I easily detect. Now, my weapon cannot damage the front of this don't think it can. Let's see. Short 5 centimeter, medium. My weapon cannot damage the front of this. KB1. Sometimes you can cause problems like knocking off tracks, that kind of thing. But that can only happen if your gun would theoretically be able to penetrate within 6 inches, within the closest range. And my gun's not even able to do that, so I don't have any chance of actually causing damage on this KB1. So I probably didn't need to make a reaction fire there. It would have been better if I had moved instead. So I think what I will do instead of attacking, because there's no point doing that, if I was to the side, I might be able to. It looks like my 5 centimeter can only penetrate up to medium armor. The side of a KV2, I think, is still heavy, so there's actually no chance for these Panzer IIIs to penetrate that KV1 or cause any damage, even immobilizing. So what I'll do as a reaction is I will spin my reaction point, and instead I will move. So I'm going to pivot, cost me 1 inch of movement. I can go up to 4 inches over here, and then I can pivot again. So I can go 8 inches in total. I can go to about there, which is a relatively good position to engage these infantry. Okay, so Soviet commander will then make another action. I will attempt to detect, let's see, who can I see there? I can't see this Panzer III on the other side. I can see these concealed Panzer IIIs, and I can see this infantry over here. I might try to detect this infantry. Let's see what I can do. It is not long range, it's around 20 inches, so 2d6. And there's no cover or anything, so all I need to do is roll a 9. I'm not able to. And that's the 2 actions. I spent 2 actions on this unit. I can't spend any more because there's a limit to what these units can do for the poor quality commander. If he was a very good quality commander, he could cause him to do lots of stuff and probably has trained him behind the scenes before the battle to do better. But right now we're going to have to go to another unit now. So we could go to this BT7. I think I'm going to move these up. They're very fast, so we'll pivot. We can go 14 inches to about there. And I will move up with him as the commander. I'll go to there, like that. That'll be 2 actions to do that. Maybe not the best idea, because now my KB1 is going to be isolated over here, so we'll see. Then I've got 2 actions left. I might attack. I'll try to attack this Panzer III over here. So 1 dice. I need to roll to detect. I'm not long range or anything. It's +2 for a armored target, a vehicle, any vehicle. And I need a 9. So I rolled an 8, which is not enough. So I've rolled up, and I haven't seen anything in front of me yet. The next one, the commander, will do the same thing. He gets a 9, so he does actually detect the Panzer III there. Now, what I might do is, before he did that, I might make a reaction here. So I'll spend a reaction as the Germans, and I will attack this unit here. So let's say he hasn't spent that last action point yet. So roll to detect. There's no modifier except for +2 for detecting a vehicle. I easily get above a 7. He's detected, and then I'm going to roll to attack at this range, which is just beyond between 6 and 12 against light armor. Is it light? Let me see. We'll make a line from corner to corner. Right now he's still from the front, so all along here would be the front facing. But these other tanks here to the side would be to the side along in this area. So right now he's still to the front, from corner to corner of the base, which makes him light instead of light 2. But I think it's still at 3+. It's not going to be. It's going to be very easy at this range. You can easily penetrate. So 3 or higher, and it's destroyed. So 3 or 4 would cause it to retreat, but 3, 4, yeah, 5 or 6 will destroy. So that's another free action spent. I only have 3 left for the rest of the game, and it's only turn 1. So I'm going through these pretty quickly. And now I have my last action, the commander. So I'll try to detect that Panzer III again. I get a +2, but I need a 9. So I get an 11. I have succeeded. So I'll put a detected marker on this Panzer III, and now roll to attack. I have a 45mm cannon just beyond 6 inches and to the front. Front of a Panzer III is light, I think, at this period. Let me check. Panzer III G light to the front. It's a 45mm light, and just beyond 6 makes it a 6 or higher. So I need a 6 or higher to inflict, to cause problems. So let's see. I did not succeed. So I probably didn't even hit, or wasn't able to penetrate properly. So now I will probably, as the Germans make another reaction, I suppose I don't really need to because they're out of action points. It's now pretty much the end of the turn, so I can actually save these for next turn. So that's both Soviet commanders have taken their turn. We'll now go to turn 2. Okay, hidden deployments, there are none. I'll remove all these dice showing that they've activated. And we'll now go to a recon phase, so check to see if anyone's outside of command range. This commander, everyone around here is inside the command range except this mortar. And this commander's out on his own. The German commander has a 10-inch range, so everyone's inside there, and this commander has a 16-inch range for his radios. Everyone's within range, so the only person who's going to activate in the recon phase is this mortar, and he'll get 1 action. During a recon phase, you only get 1 action. He will try to detect... I'll try to detect the commander over there. 20 inches. He's within range. Mortars do have binoculars and are able to see a bit further. So there's no modifier. I do need to roll a 7 or higher to see them. I'm able to see them. Critical sight. So I'll put a detected marker on this commander. Probably not the best thing to be detected by an 82mm mortar, but that's what's happened. So I'm using 1 action to attack, and in an attack you can make a detection and then you roll your attack. So I'm going to roll to attack. 82mm mortar is a D-type weapon. So I'm going to roll 2d6, and I'm going to look at the D column on the infantry attack table. Let me find that for you. So I've rolled a 4. On the D column, that is a chance of being suppressed. So we're going to roll a morale check for the commander. He succeeds that, so he's not suppressed. There's a few mortar rounds falling around him, but it's not going to cause any major issues for him at the moment. What I'll do as the Soviets is I'll spend free action here to attack again. So I'll put him under a very heavy mortar barrage. So I'm just going to roll to attack again. This time it's a 3, and a 3 gives us a result of suppressed or regroup. So you can see here, 3, suppressed, regroup. So in that case, we'll make a morale check. We just need a, that's a success. Usually average commander needs a 6 or higher. So he succeeds. In this case, he has a choice. He can regroup at this point, which means to move up to 6 inches. If he moves towards the attacker, he has to break line of sight. So I don't think he's able to do that. Unless he moves to here. He could move up to here, but it's quite a dangerous position to be in. So what he will do is he will move back into this cover here. And if you move more than 1 inch, the detected marker is removed. So the 82mm mortar has made a barrage on this commander, and he's reacted very quickly and just pulled back into cover here, as you would. You regroup in a different area, rather than sit there and take it. Okay, so the Soviet commander could continue to spend these free actions, but I think it's good to save them for reactions to be able to respond to enemy units. So we'll now go to the normal activation phase. So the Germans will go first. They can choose whichever commander they want to activate first. I think I will go for the Panzer III commander. Or will I? Let's see. The only way I can deal with this KV-1 is to get really close and grenade it. But all these infantry are causing a problem, so I probably want to outflank around this position. And to do that, I know the Soviet commander will only be able to activate infantry or the vehicle, so he'll either have to pour everything into this vehicle, all his activation points, or into the infantry. So my options are to try and outflank around this area with all the tanks and infantry, This flank's pretty much dealt with. We've got one BT7 there to blow up, and then that'll be over. But then it's just a matter of trying to break through this large Soviet position. So what I'll do is I'll start dealing with this this flank over here. I think I'll activate these tanks first. So I'll spend one action to try to attack that BT7 there. There's no modifiers except for the +2 for detecting a vehicle. I only need a 7, so I easily detect it. And I'll roll to attack. Short 5 centimeter, we're just beyond 6 inches. Just beyond 6 inches, and it's light, I think light 2 to the side. We'll pull it to the side there. Yes, we'll be to the side, so it's very, very easy to destroy it. It's destroyed. So all those BT7s are dealt with. They call them the Mickey Mouse tank because the hatches would pop open and they look like 2 circular Mickey Mouse ears. And so now I'm going to spend the rest of my actions to redeploy around here, I think is my plan. So I'll spend one action. He's going to pivot on the spot, which cost him 1 centimeter of movement, and he'll go 7 inches to there. Another action here, he will pivot on the spot as the commander and go 7 inches to there. Another action to get this guy to pivot on the spot and go, I'll go 6 inches and then pivot back, just so I'm not exposing my side armor to anything. Not that there's really anything that can cause a problem for me, except that KV1. And then I think, so what have I done? I've done an attack, 1, 2, 3 moves. So I've got 2 actions left. As the commander, so I will probably move around here like this, do another pivot and 6 inches, so that's 7, another pivot to there, and the last one I will pivot, and I could go up to 7 inches, but I can go 6 to there and then pivot again. So yeah, that's all his activation done. This German infantry commander, who'll be next in order. We've got 6 actions. I'm going to, what am I going to do? I need to get closer really to cause some problems here. So if I can get closer and take out that 82mm mortar, let's try to do that. So what I'm going to do, flanking is the best way to deal with anything. As an average commander, I can give this guy 3 actions. He could go 1, 2 moves to there and get to the flank, and then take out the side of this 82mm mortar. So it's risky, but I think that's what I'm going to do. So within 10 inches, he is. I can donate 3 actions to him. So I'm down to 3, and now this squad has 3 actions. He's going to make 1 move. It'll cost him 1 action. Another move to there. But 1 move, 1 action left. He is now to the side of this mortar. He's going to use his last action to attack. Let me just see if you can see that on the... Yes, you can see him on the camera. That's good. So within 6 inches, infantry automatically detect a target. So I don't need to roll to detect. You can clearly see him. I'm going to make my attack. All I have is rifles. If I was within 3 inches... actually, here's what I should do. What I should do is... instead of attacking, I should move closer. And I'll use a free action to attack. So I'm going to move to within 3 inches, like this. Within 3 inches, I can use grenades, and it's also more likely this unit will surrender when I'm making this attack. So I've used my 3 actions. That's the maximum 8 action points I could use per unit for this average commander. But now I can use a free action. I've got 3 left. I'll use 1 free action to attack this mortar. So I don't have any actions left. He's automatically detected, and now I'm going to roll my attacks. So for rifles are an A-type weapon. To the flank, I'm +2. So I'm going to add 2 dice. I'm going to choose the 2 highest. And it's on the A column. So that is a 9. If we look here, you can see a 9 is 1 casualties and a chance of retreat. So I'm going to put a casualties marker. Each infantry base can take, once it's taken 3 casualties, it's removed from the game. When it takes 2 casualties, it's -1 to all checks. And now a chance of retreat means I'm going to roll a morale check for this mortar. Usually 2d6, -2 for being attacked to the side. So I'm going to roll 4 dice and choose the 2 lowest. I need at least a 7. So 2 lowest is a 3. They are considered to retreat. Now, because I'm within 3 inches, I believe they... If the target was within 3 inches, they surrender, yeah. So this mortar unit surrenders straight away. They see the unit somehow snuck up behind them, hasn't seen them. Probably as the Soviets, I should have spent some of my free actions to try to attack this unit on the incoming, but I totally forgot to do that. I had plenty of chance to do that. You know, after each movement, I can make a reaction, but I neglected to do that, but maybe I'll be able to come back from that and use some free actions later on. But at this stage, this mortar has surrendered, and so it's removed from the game totally. So the Soviets do have options to deal with these incoming attacks. It's just they've been very sluggish, and as a player they've maybe forgotten or didn't want to use their actions yet and save them for later on. So my commander still has 3 actions over here. If I wanted to, I could spend 2 more actions and try to keep attacking. And after this attack, the Soviets could now respond if they wanted to. In fact, I think they'll do that, so let's spend a free action to react to this. I'll pivot on the spot. As an attack, you can pivot on the spot. It does make you -1 to detect an attack within 6 inches, so it's automatically detected. Sorry, automatic detection with a -1 means you just roll a standard detection check. So I need a 7, I only rolled a 6, so I'm not actually able to detect there. So I wasted an action turning, but at least I won't be to the flank if the Germans decide to press that attack. So we've heard rifle fire, we can't see anything going on. Maybe there's a dip in the snow or something, or maybe we just haven't responded fast enough. We can see them, but we weren't able to attack just yet, or we're confused or something. So we now have 3 more actions as this commander. I think we probably want to start moving up on this flank, so I'm going to do 1 action as a move here, and I'll do a few actions to try to, let's see, I need to get closer here, so I'm going to move up here. That cost me 1 action, and then now I'm closer range, I can detect this unit here much easier, so I'll spend my last action to just attack those units in the forest. It'll be -1 for cover, so choosing the 2 lowest. Yep, I easily detect them. Oh, they're already detected, sorry, I don't need to roll to detect, so I'm just going to roll to attack instead. For an attack, I have the squad's rifles, 12 inches, an A-type weapon, and the MG34 is also an A-type weapon, and when they combine together it gives me a +1. So I usually get a +1 because it's -1 in the cover, I'll just get no modifier. So I'm just rolling a normal A-type attack on the infantry attack table. A 5 has no effect, so there's no effect there. They machine gun the trees a little bit, but it doesn't have the effect of actually suppressing anyone. So that's all the German activation. Now I'll go to the Soviet activation. So I only have 1 commander left, and it's this commander here. He'll get 6 actions, and I can choose to activate either infantry or armor. I can't do both. So I think I'm going to try to, let's see, if I activate this KV-1, it's very difficult for him to detect things, but I'm going to try it anyway. We'll just see what he can do, you know? So I'm going to donate, I mean, it doesn't really matter if I donate or not, there's only 1 unit, so the only problem is, as a poor quality commander, he can only make 2 actions. So my choices are give him 2 actions and then do nothing else, or give each of these units 2 actions each. Problem is, if I keep focusing on my infantry, this KV-1's never going to activate, it's just going to sit there. So really I want to move him out of my range so that he can activate maybe in the recon phase. That might be a good way to do it. So, let's see. I am going to give 2 actions to him. It means that'll be my turn. Oh, wow, that's a challenge. Challenging decisions for the Russian commander here. I really need him to take out those Panzer IIIs, so I'm just going to have to do it, I think. Yep, I spend 2 actions on him. He's going to move... oh, actually, if I move myself out of range, he'll then be able to activate in the recon phase, so here's how we'll do it. We'll give him 2 actions to attack. So, first off, he'll try to attack these infantry here. There's no modifier, but I still need to roll a 9. I'm not able to. And I will try again. Now the Germans could respond at this point, they could do a reaction, but there's no real point. And I'll try again, I'm not able to. So I spend 2 actions, he's looking out the the gunner ports and can't see anything directly in front of him, or has missed these. But that's fine. And crew training at this period was very, very poor for Soviets. And then I'll use another action here as the commander to move to here. That'll hopefully get me out of 6-inch range from the... I'll move to there. It'll be 3. Now, I probably need to deal with this unit here, so I've got 3 actions left. I'll see if I can do my own counter-attack here. So this unit here, I'll spend 1 action to move them out to the side like this. And at this point, the Germans are going to try to react to this. They could choose to react, and that would allow them to pivot on the spot and attack and prevent a flanking attack. In fact, I'll move a bit closer so they're within 3 inches. So I think the Germans are going to do this because this infantry unit is quite important. Shall I? I've got 2 actions left. I'll let them go for it. Let's see what happens. So I'll spend 1 action to attack. Within 6 inches, automatically detected. I'm rolling. I just have rifles and grenades. So 2d6 for rifles, +2 for flanking, and all poor quality units are -1 to attack. So I'm actually -1 to attack here. So my overall is a +1. I choose the 2 highest. I get a 7. That is a suppressed or regroup. So I need to roll a morale check, which will be -2 for being flanked. So 4 dice and choose the 2 lowest. That is a fail, so I actually become suppressed there. It'd be nice if I could have regrouped at that point. That would be very good. So I'm suppressed. This unit can't make any more actions. Oh, he also has grenades, so let's go for the grenades as well. Grenades are a B-type weapon. Each weapon type will roll separately. If they're the same type, they add to each other. They add a +1. The B-type will attack on its own. So I've got a +2 for attacking to the side, but -1 for being poor quality, because we're just not that good at attacks. So I'm choosing the 2 highest. It's a 5, and that is not on the B-type. It is suppress or regroup again. I believe if he's already suppressed, suppress units cannot regroup. So I'm going to make my morale check. So -2 for being flanked to the side. I do fail again, so I now become shocked, because I've been suppressed the 2nd time. So they're throwing grenades, they're firing rifles, they're right in the flank of me. I wasn't expecting it. So, surprise can often be a very powerful psychological factor. So I'm now what's considered to be shocked. It's similar to suppressed in being that I cannot attack or move, but the shocked marker is more difficult to get rid of. It's like a -1 quality check to remove, whereas suppression will just go away automatically if I'm not attacked. So the Russian commander has 1 more action. Let's see if I can get my mortar to do something. 6 inches, yep, he's in range. I'll spend 1 action to get my mortar to try to attack this machine gun squad, the squad here with the machine gun. Normal range, just need to roll a 7. I'm able to. So he succeeds in detecting the mortar, and he will attack. Just 2d6, there's no cover or anything there. And it is on the D-type weapon, I believe. D-type, so I rolled a 6. On the D-type, let's have a look here. Roll the 6 on the D-type, that's 1 casualties and chance of retreat. So, casualties, and they make a morale check. There's no modifiers, because there's no one's to the side, so we'll make a morale check here. On a 5, we do succeed. So, we don't... if we failed, we would retreat, but if we succeed, we just become shocked instead. So, we're being mortared, and that makes us shocked. And that is the end of the Soviet activation. So this gives you kind of an example game of how things work. You've seen how we alternate activation commander by commander. You've seen flanking attacks. You've seen suppression. So we'll keep going, and I'll show you how these suppression markers are removed. So right now we'd remove all the activation dice. We'd go to turn 3. We'd do a recon phase first. So the Soviets have 1 unit outside of command range, and the Germans have 1 unit as well, this unit here. So we're going to roll off. We'll say the red dice is the Soviets. We'll roll off to see who activates first in this recon phase. The Germans go first. This unit here cannot make any actions when they're shocked. Let me see, what's the word? You counter suppressed, and removing the suppression has a -1 modifier. And when you're suppressed, you can't move or shoot, and any detection attempts are -1. So you can still try to detect things when you're suppressed, but it's much harder. You're trying to pop your head up when you're under fire. So he can't make any actions, but at the end of the recon phase, I'll try to remove this shock marker. And I make a normal quality check, but it's -1 for the shock marker. If there was an additional shock marker, it would be -2. So it's -1 for each shock marker you have. So I'm going to choose the two lowest. I got a 4. I need to roll a 5, and so he remains shocked. So nothing happens there. Then the Soviets will do their recon phase. They have one unit outside, which is the KB-1. He's going to make one action, and this action could be amazing. Let's see. I think he's going to try to attack this Command Panzer III. It's beyond 20 inches, so it's usually +2 for a vehicle, but -1 for long range. So I need to roll a 9. I choose the two highest dice. I get a 9, so that's good. I have seen that Panzer III in the distance. Now I will try to destroy it. So, 76mm cannon. Side armor of a Panzer III is light. Let's have a look at this. 76mm cannon on the KB-1. That range is, let me check the range actually. The range is beyond 20, between 20 and 24 inches. So let's have a look at this. 76mm, between 20 and 24, against light armor, 8 or higher. Oh, that's not that good, is it? I suppose it's long range. Is it light or light 2 to the side? Let me see. That would be interesting. Panzer 3. Come on. It's light to the side. Okay, so I need an 8+. It's not as good as I thought it would be, but that's alright. 8 or higher. At this range, it's this is like maybe around 1,200 meters, so it's quite a distant shot. So I need an 8 or higher. As a poor quality unit, I'm -1 to the attack. So I'm going to choose the two lowest dice. I need an 8. Two lowest is a 4. No effect. So I fire, and that's all that happens. Now, the Germans could respond at this point. They can't really... Nothing they can do can affect that KB-1, so there's no point in them spending actions on it. As the Soviets, I'm going to spend another action. I'm going to spend one of my free actions to attack again. Because why not? So it's -1 again. I got a 5 this time. Not quite enough. I'm just going to keep going, because if I can destroy that commander, it could make a good effect on the game. So I'll go again, -1. This time it is a 6. I just need an 8. And last one, I'll do my last attack, and that's all my free actions gone as the Soviets. This time I get a 6. So I keep firing. It's quite a long distance, around 1,200 meters. So I'm not able to inflict any damage. And the German commander probably shitting his pants a little bit, but he's managed to get away scot-free, just purely because of the low quality of the KB-1 crew and the gunnery. So yeah, that's hopefully that's helpful. And yeah, that's pretty much the example game, so we'll call it there, and you've seen how the basic mechanics work.